Mr. President, I also want to take note of a tribute that I want to pay to Dan Long, who recently passed away. Dan was an incredibly well-respected and committed member of the Labor Party. He was looked up to and known well in the Labor movement around the Sutherland Shire. Dan was a member of the Miranda branch and worked hard along with his wife of 75 years, Anne. They both worked on many campaigns in the local area. In fact, Dan was one of the longest living members and supporters of Labor. He died just before his 105th birthday. Dan was born in 1920 in Great Britain and moved to Australia in the 60s. Dan strongly advocated for peace, having served in the army during World War II, including as part of the D-Day landing in France, and then into Belgium, the Netherlands and Germany. Last year, the St George and Sutherland Shire leader interviewed Dan close to Anzac Day, where he told his stories of the horrors of war and is quoted as saying, "There should never be world wars again. War is the worst thing, and I would like the younger generation to make peace their priority." This is an important message worthy of the Parliament's acknowledgement. I also note that last year Dan received a special medal from the Kogarah RSL sub-branch for his service, a well-deserved honour. Dan believed strongly in the right to a fair go and was passionate about social justice, influenced by his experience growing up during the Great Depression. Dan inspired so many people in the Labor movement. He was a true believer and will be greatly missed. I would like to send my deepest condolences to Dan's family, his children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, whom he loved very, very much. Mr. President, I knew Dan quite well. He helped on the 3 campaigns I ran in the Sutherland Shire. One was for the seat of Cook in 2004, and then Cook again in 2007, and then eventually getting elected to local council in 2008. A very, very dedicated Labor person who believed in the ideals of the Labor movement, and a guy you could always rely on and look up to. Clearly had grown up with that experience of war and not having the means growing up. He was actually a cook in the army, a really good cook. Went to his place for dinner on many lovely occasions where he would have us around and we would talk all night about Labor politics. Would attend anything that was going in terms of the Labor Party, not just branches, but door knocking, campaigning, putting posters up. I'm talking about at the age of probably 80 to 90. As I said earlier in the speech, he lived to be 105 years old. A truly, truly lovely, gentlemanly fellow, along with his lovely wife, Anne, who had passed away years earlier. Some of the nicest people you could ever hope to be associated with and meet and have in your lives. A beautiful, beautiful man who lived a very, very worthy life and will always be remembered. Vale Daniel Long.